Assalamu alaykum everyone. Today I want to share with you a simple yet effective daily routine to help you memorize the Quran at home, even if you're doing it by yourself. Before you even open the Quran, you need to first consider three things. First, you need to think about where you're going to be memorizing. You need to choose a quiet and consistent spot that's free from any distractions. Secondly, you need to consider when you're going to be memorizing. You need to pick a time where you're most focused and alert. For some people, this might be early in the morning, and for others, this might be late at night or maybe even sometime during the day. Lastly, you'll need to think about how much time you'll have each day. For this routine, let's assume you're dedicating about 1 hour each day. So now that you have your logistics figured out, it's time to make a plan for what to memorize. For this example, let's assume you've already completed Juz Amma, Juz Tabarak, and maybe half of Juz Qad Zaman until about here, Surah Al-Mumtahana. So let's say you just recently finished it and you're ready to start Surah Al-Hashr. So how much should you memorize each day? Now this is an important decision because it impacts how much time you'll need for review later. So while it might be tempting to start big with 2 or 3 pages daily, remember that the more you memorize, the more time you'll need to dedicate for review. So for this routine, let's start with maybe 1 page a day. So let's say memorizing 1 page might take around 20 minutes. And don't worry if it takes you more or less time than that. Everybody's pace is different and that's completely fine. And if you want to know exactly how I memorize, I'll leave that video in the description or right up here in the cards. So after memorizing, it's time for review. I like to divide my review into 2 parts, recently memorized and general review. Let's start with recently memorized. So I like to classify recently memorized as the last 10 pages that I've just memorized, so like the previous pages. So for example, in day 1, let's say we have just memorized this half page here of Surah Al-Hashr. We didn't do a full page because Surah Al-Hashr is only a half page on the first page. So we just finished this half page and we did our memorization portion. Now for our review portion, we're going to go back. I'm going to skip the rest of that because we didn't do it yet. We're going to start on the first page of our recently memorized, which is Surah Al-Mumtahana. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we review all of those 10 pages. And that's our recently memorized portion for the day. Then the next day, on day 2, we're going to memorize this page as our new page to memorize. But we have to start our review, our recently memorized, from the previous day. So day 1, we memorize this. Day 2, we memorize this. So on day 2, we start our review from this page. So this is 1, and then we skip here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And our 10 is going to stop here. So every day you'll add yesterday's page and then drop a page from the end. So every day the total should be 10 pages that you're reviewing. And this step is very important because it makes sure that those newer pages get enough repetition before they're added to your longer term review. This might take about 15 minutes to review. So if you're just starting out and it's taking a lot longer, maybe you can just review the last 2 or 3 pages and then slowly build up to 10 pages each day. Lastly, you have your more longer term review or your general review. I think this is what most people think of when they're doing Quran revision. It's when you take all of the Quran that you memorize and then you divide it out into chunks to revise each day. In our example, we've memorized about 2.5 ajza, so that's about 50 to 55 pages. So you could do 10 pages each day with maybe 5 pages on the last day. And you can adjust this as needed. In my video about how to review the Quran, I go into more detail about how to better structure this for your own individual needs. And that's it, a simple hour-long routine to memorize the Quran at home. If you have any questions or just any suggestions for any future videos, please leave them down below. I would really love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found this helpful.